Patrick Koller, it's a pleasure to see you again. We're going to discuss your annual results for 2018 and what's become an annual meeting for us almost.
A new tradition.
What do you think the highlights we should take away from 2018 are?
Maybe the first point is that we delivered all our commitments. These commitments were about sales, 17.5 billion euros of sales, which means plus 7% versus last year, plus 810 basis points versus the market. So that's, I think, a very good performance. Secondly, our operating margin, the operating margin progressed by 10%, achieving 7.3%. Also, I think, a significant progress. It's the best ever we achieved. The net result, 4% of our sales, progressed by 17%. Here again, significant. And our net cash flow, and we wanted to be focused on that net cash flow. We achieved 528 million euros for a target at 500 million euros. So all of that, pretty good. And as you've said, in an environment which, especially in the second half, was difficult.
You teams proved resilient. How do you explain the performance at the end of the year, despite the challenges that the auto production industry presented for you?
The two markets which dropped most were Europe and Asia, and especially China. So in Europe, it was more related to WLTP, so the new homologation. In China, the drop, and I think we can speak about the collapse, we had about minus 20% in the last months of the year. Our teams in China were used to growth, for the last 15 years and continuous growth. I have to say I'm really pleased with the way they reacted very quickly, as usual in China, but with the right agility, with the right focus on costs, on what counts, on cash, and they delivered. We finally achieved in the second half in China a very resilient result. So, 7.3% operating income is also what we achieved in the second half, despite all these difficulties.
Very impressive. Like order intake, I see your 3-year numbers are again spectacular.
Yeah, that's good news. We won market share in all our business groups, for all our business groups. We have now an order book at 63 billion euros, 3 years cumulated, which I think is pretty good. It's the best ever, again, we achieved so far. When you look at the content also, with the new value spaces, we made 12%, which starts now to be, an important figure in all the new value spaces, cockpit of the future, but also related to sustainable mobility. So it's, I think, an takeoff, which we will confirm in 2019.
1% of new value spaces was your order intake in 2016. It's already up to 12%. How do you explain and analyze such a big increase, and will that continue to grow in the coming year?
I think that this is the strength of our business model. It's quite easy today and reliable to have a vision, because if you say to the people, will we have electric cars in the future? There's no doubt about that. Will we have autonomous cars in the future? Again, there's no doubt about this. Will we have more or different mobility solutions? Again, it's sure. The difficulty is when and how much. With our business model, when you look at cockpit of the future, but equally with our sustainable mobility, we are able to sell bricks which are related to this vision immediately. So our time to market is kept short, and this is excellent because you have the right return on your R&D efforts.
We talk a lot every time we see each other about the cockpit of the future. You're continuing to invest very heavily in that sector. The acquisition of Clarion was one of the big items of 2018. It looks like you're almost there. Tell me where you are.
The complementarities with our own expertise fields is incredible from a regional point of view, from a technology point of view, from a customer point of view. And what I can tell you about Clarion is we are now closer to the teams. We are starting to work with the teams to prepare the docking of Clarion. I'm very positively surprised by the openness and by the recognition on both sides that we have the same DNA.
As we discussed, second half of 2018 was a bit difficult, and you faced well. What are your predictions for 2019?
I think 2019 is characterized by a lack of visibility. We really don't know. So we have to be prudent. We have volatility and lack of visibility. But it's an assumption because it's not what IHS, for example, is predicting.
Right.
Our assumption is a slightly negative year in terms of volumes. We are considering -1%, with a more negative first half and a better second half. But the second half is also related to a reference point last year, which was low. Yeah? So we are prudent. And we are considering that it might even be worse, and we have to get prepared for that.
What about in terms of promises to the market? What's your target in terms of operating margin for 2019?
Our commitment is on growth between 150 and 350 basis points in terms of sales, a minimum of 7% operating income, and a minimum of 500 million euros of net cash flow, excluding Clarion for the sales, but including Clarion for the profitability and the cash.
In conclusion, Patrick, what are the lessons then from 2018 that are important to you that will also determine the way that Faurecia will operate in 2019?
We got used to this positive environment. We knew that this will not stay forever. So we have a warning. We got a warning in 2018, and we have to take it seriously. We have to understand that this industry is very sensitive to the economical environment. So agility, again, is absolutely fundamental. I think we have demonstrated that our strategy is the right one. It is a recognized strategy by the marketplace. As I said to you, our model allows us to make and to have a return immediately or very quickly, which is again positive and differentiating versus the others. We will not slow down our transformation. We will even continue to transform the company at high speed, but in parallel, we have to demonstrate our capacity to deliver in more difficult times. We have to demonstrate the quality of the resilience of our group, and this is related to the teams, and I have no doubt that with the teams we have, we will be able to deliver as planned.
Patrick Koller, always a pleasure to see you. Congratulations to you and the teams at Faurecia for your
Thank
results.
you. See you next year then.
See you soon.